G'day folks, it's Rob from the Doctor Who Show here, and look, we're a day on from Tales of the TARDIS dropping in the UK. This was something we made a video about recently because it wasn't having a release outside of the UK, and as expected, clips of it have been appearing all over the place. People have been filming stuff and putting it up on X. People have been clipping it and putting it on YouTube. There are ways to see the footage. That's a good thing. And the first thing that surprised me is that Tales of the TARDIS wasn't quite what I thought it would be. Of course, we had seen the still photos from it. We knew who was in each installment of it. But I truly thought this would be more conversation in the present day between the 5th Doctor and Tegan, the 6th Doctor and Peri, the 7th Doctor and Ace, and so on and so forth. And yet what it's turned out to be is essentially they've taken 6 classic stories: Earthshock, The Mind Robber, Vengeance on Varos, The Three Doctors, The Time Meddler, and The Curse of Fenric, and compiled omnibus editions of them, which are topped and tailed by this new footage of the current day Peter Davison and Janet Fielding and Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant and so on and so forth. So it's maybe not as essential as you thought it might be before you actually saw it. I know after seeing it, I'm glad I have seen it, but it's not quite the big amazing thing you thought it would be, and for that reason a lot of the nose out of joint feeling, if I can put it that way, of the initial video has completely left me. I mean, for starters, I think we can see why this hasn't got a run on Disney, or maybe why other TV networks couldn't pick it up. It's because these videos are essentially entire stories from classic Doctor Who, and if those networks, streaming services, whatever, don't have access or the rights to classic Doctor Who, then how can they show them? Because they are essentially entire stories. So all of that started to clarify for me as soon as I started to see the concept here. Again, I thought there'd be more talking in the present day and maybe clips from different stories, but no, it's essentially just an introduction and an outro on a whole classic story that you've probably seen 100 times before. And if you haven't seen these clips, I implore you to go and have a look at them. They are quite charming in their own way. I won't go into too much detail, but I will say, for example, they all have different tones. There is this concept that they've all come to a remembering TARDIS, where friends can sit down and remember, but it's expressed in different ways in different videos. The Davison Doctor seems to have just woken up, and he's older, and Tegan's there, and they hang out. The McCoy Doctor seems to suggest that he is from a timeline where he hasn't regenerated yet, and he's just grown old. So it's very interesting that even within this narrative, there are different interpretations of what's going on. I found the episode with Vicky and Stephen to be really good. It felt like it was actually a story, like Stephen has arrived in the TARDIS and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and then they get talking about the Doctor, and there's a really lovely moment that I won't spoil. Similarly, in the episode with Joe and Clyde, who's the ring-in from the Sarah Jane Adventures, that's quite funny in several moments. It relates to the Three Doctors, but at the end there is also a Joe solo scene which has a similar kind of vibe to the Vicky and Stephen episode. I won't go any further into that. Oh, and of course after Earthshock there's a really nice bit of dialogue between Davo and Tegan, obviously relating to what happens in Earthshock. Spoilers? Are there still spoilers for a story that old? I don't know. So, guys, the content is out there. It's available on YouTube right now. I implore you to go and watch it now before it gets pulled down with a copyright strike or something. But it might not be what you originally thought it was, because it's certainly not what I originally thought it was. It is, if I dare say this in the anniversary month, fluff. It's fluff. It's just little introductions to existing episodes. That's all it is. But there is some nice writing in there, some nice thoughts. And it's always good to see these actors come back, isn't it? Anyway, I've been Rob. We'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Show. Happy 60th.